Very briefly. Very briefly. And al-wala wal Bara is an aspect, is a variable of al-Iman. It's part of your Iman. I don't mean believing Allah and Rasul. I'm talking about your essence of yourself. Loving and hating what Allah loves and hating what Allah hates. Associating yourself with those who Allah wants you to associate yourself with, and disassociating yourself from those who He wants you to disassociate yourself from. Allah says, "Let not the believers take disbelievers for their friends in preference to believers. Whoever does this has no connection with Allah unless you are guarding yourselves against them as a precaution. Allah bids you to be aware of Himself, and to Allah is the return, the journey." If the reason al-wala wal Bara is so important as an aspect of our deen, because it will take you away from complete jahiliyyah in mind, body and soul, completely and utterly. The last time I gave this subject 5 or 6 years ago, they said I was a madman. How is that possible? Because I don't know how you're learning your deen. I don't know if you're learning it regularly, or that you are taking it ad hoc, your CD here and the tape there, or you're actually sitting with brothers or sisters who are learning the deen, so that you are on a certain level, so that when you hear the verse of the Quran, you say, "Yeah, alhamdulillah," or the hadith of Rasulullah, you say, "Alhamdulillah, I accept it." Because sometimes some of the verses are very strong, because Iman is by degrees. When Allah says, "Ya ayyuhal ladina amanu," Allah's talking both al-Islam and Iman together. And there are some of the verses that you hear in the khutbah or some talks that just doesn't make sense to me. And if it doesn't make sense to you, or you find it very difficult to absorb, obviously there's nothing wrong with the verses. There's something wrong with your heart. It's as simple as that. There's something wrong with your mindset. And you have to seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from that. Because if you don't study properly what al-Iman is, that's very true, to know Iman is. So somebody believes Iman is just by tongue. Some people just believe it's in the heart, whereby it's tongue, heart, conviction, and limbs. Once you have that straight and you learn the aspects of al-Iman, then when you hear some of the verses that we'll say level 10 Islam, say for example, you say, "Alhamdulillah, no problem," you'll accept it. Because when you say ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, you are saying to Allah, "I bear witness, Allah, that there is no deity to worship except you, and that I believe in the verses that I haven't heard yet. I accept everything in the Quran. That when I hear it, I will accept it." That's the meaning of La ilaha illallah. Negation and affirmation. So when you hear some verse you haven't heard before, or some verses give a tafsir of it, you think, "Oh, that's a bit strong," you'll accept it. If you don't accept it, you find it difficult to accept here, then there's some issues. Either there's arrogance, pride, attachment to the dunya, attachment to people, attachment to money, something that's preventing you from complete submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As the brothers mentioned, there's no way that I can do justice to this. Not just today, but at all. You need some big sheikh to sit with to teach you this complete al-wala wal Bara. I want to give you some taster of it, inshallah. So inshallah, I think we'll make it in 3 parts. I don't think we're going, because I want to go into it a bit deeper from the beginning to the end, inshallah. And you guys will have to, and gals, you'll have to do some homework yourselves. It's vital that you do. Because if you don't get these concepts of the deen, then you're going to be, there's a masajid all around London that have been told, and they are doing it, that if you hear any kind of extreme concepts, let us know. And the Imam say, "Yeah, sure, we'll let you know. Me and you are like this. Not me and Allah like this, but me and you, Mr. Kufar, are like this. Don't worry. You pay my wages, and I'll give you exactly who you want and what you want." By the way, these are the books by Muhammad Sa'id Ibn Sa'id Ibn Salim Al-Qahtani, the 3-part series of wal Bara. These books, they're available. I'm not sure if they've been taken off the shelves or not, actually, but you should look for them and you'll find them. You'll find them on the internet anyway, inshallah. Al-Muwalat, meaning association to something, is because you love that thing, or that thing can benefit you, or that thing can harm you. So when you associate yourself with somebody or something, for example, people are in groups, say, for example, and they believe that whatever the Shaykh says, that he's mahsoom, that he's, infallible. So whatever my Shaykh says, if he makes a mistake, that's no problem. That's his mistake, it's not mine. Whereby every individual is accountable for their own standing, male and female. The same way that a husband is the wife's hellfire or paradise, and vice versa can be. If he's given his wala to his wife, for example. And I know brothers that they're saying that their wife is such a fitnah for them in some way that they're respecting their deen. And they can't get out of it. The shaitan has got them in that certain aspect of the framework of their mind, or rather their heart. And this is why it's important to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as quickly as possible. Grab the foundations, eat the plate before the dog comes and licks it and takes your food as well, namely shaitan. And I cannot implore you more and emphasize this matter more, that you have to embark on this road of knowledge. طلب علم فريضة على كل مسلم مسلمة. That the seeking of knowledge is fard for every Muslim, male and female. Fard. Does that mean that everyone has to be a shaykh? Mufassir? Muhaddith? La. It means that you have to know the basis of the deen. Shirk, Iman, Kufr, wal Bara, how to make wudu properly, the sunnah and the fard of the wudu, the sunnah and fard of the salah. These are all the basis of your deen. And you learn fiqh, usul of fiqh as well. So you don't argue about things where your hand is, where your finger is, where on the chest is below, and all these things. You wipe over the socks or not, etc., etc. Everybody wants to push their own school of thought onto somebody else. This is not allowed. You don't learn fiqh for this. You learn fiqh because fiqh is pliable like plasticine. You can rearrange it depending on the knowledge of the shaykh, but you cannot pull it apart. Once you understand fiqh and you understand the sunnah of some of the aspects of the deen, you think it's no problem. It's not, you can't say it's only a sunnah, but the fact is that you can always discuss it and what is closer to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, relating the words of Ibrahim alayhi salam, Oh my father, I am afraid for you that some punishment from the beneficent one should seize upon you, that you would become an ally of the devil. So this is the punishment of fitnah. Oh my father, I am afraid for you that some punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should seize upon you, that you become an ally of the devil. Yani, that ibtila will come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, adhab will come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the fitnah is so great and your iman is such a level that you commit kufr, or you commit fisq, or dhulm upon your own self. Like, oh, why me, Allah? Why me? Why am I going through such a turmoil? It's easily done. Iman is degrees. And it's important that you increase your iman from a certain level to a higher level before you drop down to another level. Because it will happen. Ta'ala said, whoever worships something other than Allah has taken it as his ally. As Allah says, Allah is the ally of those who believe. So let's look at this. Whoever worships something other than Allah has taken it as his ally. Let's look at that for a second. A person's praying 5 times a day, alhamdulillah, does all his prayers and all the sunnah. Yet he may give a bay'ah to a shaykh, and that shaykh will teach him certain aspects of the deen. For example, making tawaf around